And go. All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, viewers of the Pembroke Rubber Chicken Circuit here, exclusively broadcasted live over Facebook in the group administrated by my co-host here, Candace, and that is Pembroke Elections 2018, and we're proud to have Adam Lesco here, local candidate for City Council. Do you want to take over, Candace?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was really getting to know quite a bit about you beforehand, but I'd like for you to repeat all of that now, not word for word, but to our viewers, because I really got to know who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like background and things like that.
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised here in Pembroke. I actually grew up in Laurentian Valley. My parents still live there, which is nice. I went to Cathedral Catholic School, Bishop Smith Catholic High School after that. Played hockey, soccer, rugby competitively, coached sports in the city, so I've always been involved in the community in that regard. After that, I graduated, went to Nipissing University in North Bay. I graduated with a BA in political science from there. Following graduation, I moved back here because I was poor. And moved it back in with my parents for a couple months. From there, I got an apartment in town with my girlfriend, now wife. And from there, it's just kind of been a grind. So I guess 8 years have gone by, and very settled here, very happy here, and happy to be here today, talking to you guys, talking to everybody watching live, and
Wonderful.
Having this opportunity to run for council.
Yes, we're just very happy and grateful that you are so dedicated to our city and improving the city of Pembroke. So thank you. I wanted to start with a question that I care about so much, and it's the reason that I first became interested in this season's elections, and that's recreation in our community and raising up more positive things to do, especially for the youth. Do you have any words on that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, myself, having grown up being very involved in the local sports scene, I think that's really important. Maintaining our facilities and also ensuring that we don't end up in a similar situation with our facilities that we're currently in with the Kinsman Pool.
Yes.
Because obviously people have looked at the books with that, with hundreds of thousands of dollars burned annually, essentially because we're not costing these things for the long term. And we talk a lot about the Kinsman Pool. I spoke about this actually on my FM radio interview. Mm-hmm. Whereas, if we're going to support something, it's got to be a multi-use facility. So it has multiple streams of revenue. So it's sustainable over the long term, fully costed for the future. So we don't end up in another situation like this again.
Yes.
I think if we do have that multi-use facility, it's going to give more things for kids to do. It's going to give more things for the youth to stay out of trouble, and it's going to give something for parents to entertain their children too. So I think that's really important, obviously, and the sustainability aspect of it for me is what's, I think, critical if it's going to have my support and hopefully the support of other councillors.
So you seem to be quite that would be a main priority for you, eh? If you were to get voted on, it sounds like you'd like to really expand in the recreational area. Is that right?
Yeah.
Would you say building onto Kinsman Pool or?
Well, it's that's beyond my expertise as to whether or not there's a salvageable portion of that building or not. Obviously, the cost associated with maintaining it right now is what one of the lagging issues is.
Definitely.
So, like I said, it's kind of beyond my expertise to say if there's anything salvageable about it. But if we can build off it, if we can, if we have to tear it down and build something new, I'm open to all the ideas. So actually, what I thought was interesting is when I spoke to some residents about it yesterday, they had mentioned the curling club being in a situation where they might be opening something to, amalgamate with the pool or with whatever facility that we're going to open, because there's no reason why we can't bring a lot of different things under one roof. I mean, you look at municipalities, and one of the methods they have of bringing down the cost and the overhead of their facilities is by amalgamating them and bringing them together.
Like Valor.
That's correct. And if you look at when the Petawawa undertook the project to redo the Civic Center, okay, so they made an expansion, whereas they built a library on there, brand new library, but it's all under one roof, right? So it makes it a lot easier to maintain, brings the overhead down, and allows us to have that sustainable fiscal longevity to the project.
Oh, for sure, and it would attract, like, in Petawawa, how the library is right off the rink. I know that, we've finished skating there, and then we go over to the library. It just kind of opens up more resources for people. It encourages them all when it's all under one roof as well. I think Pembroke could really use something like that.
I think it'd be great to see.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. And speaking of sustainability, we haven't touched on this in a few episodes. Transit. Do you have any words on transit? People have been talking.
Yeah, it's a pretty hot topic.
Yeah.
I remember when there was a bus running here, and I remember when they shut it down, and it was due to lack of usage. Now I don't know what the fiscal situation was like at that time and what the ridership was like, but it seems to be that it's something that we do need, and it fits into economic development very well too. I know when so I sit on the Economic Development Advisory Committee with the City of Pembroke, and we recommended that they apply for the transit grant that they actually were turned down for, that the city partnered with Laurentian Valley. We appealed to Petawawa to go in together on this because part of the demand was, when we talked to people at the garrison, they said, well, military spouses often will work in Pembroke, so they need to get from base over to Pembroke. So we knew that we wanted to include that as a route, east end of Pembroke to west end of Pembroke, all the way up to the base and back, and then stop in Laurentian Valley in between, right? So we figured that was very important to have. So I'm hoping that, and I know the current mayor and council is on board with this, and is the next time that this opportunity comes up to reapply for this transit grant, to get this pilot program off the ground. And then in that time that we have it funded, we figured out a way to make it sustainable, bring up the ridership to actually prove the concept, to see if it's something that will have longevity here.
Yes. What kind of ridership do you think we'd see if we had transit, like college students, elderly? Mixed?
Well, I think with the changing demographics, we know the population's getting older, that's just a fact. And with the growth of the college, I would expect to see a higher ridership than maybe we had at that time.
Yes, so I think you're right. It's re-observing, reassessing.
Yeah, and we asked that question on Pembroke elections too, and a lot of people were, especially parents of children that go to school, a lot of them also seemed really into the public transit idea as well. Because I know that like the bus line's very limited now. I think it's only one company, compared to, I believe it used to be a few companies before.
That's right.
And yeah, so you had already mentioned that about, everything coming together and just being one big organization, but it's really limited this town, I feel, in regards to options open. Children are having to walk further to school now, even at a young age, my kids as well, so just because of the limitation on bus routes and things like that. So I'm all for the transit idea.
Yeah, I think that makes, you make a great point in that having that alternative, because like you said, kids are having to walk to school when maybe you're not comfortable with them walking at that age. So to have that option, depending on what kind of routes we could actually set up, hopefully they would be able to kind of fill the void there.
Yes.
And like I was saying before, where it ties into the whole economic development aspect, I've talked to managers at some of the larger employers here in the city and around the city, and they've said that transportation for employees or prospective employees has been an issue for them.
Really?
People, they hired someone and they didn't show up to work. Why? Couldn't get a ride, couldn't get to work, right? And you think about some of the employers too that, they pay well, they have the demand, but they can't fill the spaces because they can't get someone who can make it to work on time every day. So, and I found that really interesting.
Yeah, but I guess there's all sorts of cases.
Well, if you look at, I believe someone when I was looking into transit, someone in the community mentioned that like West End Mall, for example, the staff would get off at 9, or they close at 9, so obviously they don't even get off at 9. They have to close up, and the bus is already done by 9.
Right.
And so that was an example of how it wasn't working in the past for employers, employees.
Yeah, we definitely have to consult all the stakeholders involved, and obviously the employers that foresee their employees taking advantage of the transit system, and same with the college as well. Like they would have to be definitely consulted when we're route planning and getting the logistics part down a bit.
Yeah, and I think that like a transit system would have to be a little bit flexible too, like getting. exactly what you said, like what are the demands in the town and how can we make it work for so many people in this town. I think flexibility is important that way, because then maybe they can consider, if the employees get off at 9 o'clock, they can consider running it until 9:15, or you know what I mean, enough time to close up shop and get outside to meet the bus.
Yeah.
But I think that could be really successful. I bet you a lot of people would use a transit system around here.
Yeah, I would hope so anyway, because then we can, like you said, prove the concept and make it a reality, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a question from a viewer. Can I bring it up now?
Yeah.
It's a really good one from Jay Crawford, a viewer out of Deep River. He says, I posed this question to our candidates here in Deep. What's your thoughts, Adam, on working more with other communities, such as Deep River, Chalk River, in supporting and maybe getting more bigger events to our communities, Pembroke, Petawawa, Chalk, Deep, Cobden, etc., to help everyone's economy, and congrats on running, he says.
Oh, thanks.
Very cool.
Look forward to hopefully congratulations on the 22nd as well. So. No, that's a great point, and this is something I've heard talked about, and I don't think, you know, within the confines of the City Hall or even any of the council chambers around the county is being talked about nearly enough, is sharing services, working together on things. I mean, there's a few agreements between LV and Pembroke that work out, but it's always a piecemeal approach, right? It's project by project. I mean, I think, you know, obviously you have to have the councils get along in order for this to take place, and you have to have the staffs get along. But I mean, there's so many different opportunities to work together to bring down costs for many things, whether it's events, whether it's services. You think about the duplication that goes on between our communities, and it hurts taxpayers everywhere. It hurts in the Deep River, Pembroke, Petawawa, Whitewater, you name it. You think about something as simple as a fire department, for example, right? You think about the costs associated with that. I mean, we're right next door to each other. There's ways to bring us together, collaborate, and everybody wins in the end. As long as we can maintain the same level of service, everybody wins in the end. But I really like his point about coordinating on events, because Deep River hits it out of the park with Summerfest every single year.
How do they do it?
I don't know, but it's usually you know, great planning, and there's usually a dedicated group of volunteers to make it happen. Yes. So if you know,
that's awesome.
Anytime there's an opportunity to cooperate, I mean, I'm all ears and I'm always open.
Yeah, you sound like quite the advocate for things. Like, you sound like you'd be the go-to person in regards to, hey, you know, do you think that you can speak with this municipality and get them on board? You seem like a very good character to be able to kind of bridge that gap among all these municipalities.
I certainly try, and I mean, I'm always about networking and making connections. I mean, introducing people to help other people. I mean, that's how we get places in life. You know, it's how business operates. It's how politics works. You know, it's all about making connections, communications, and keeping open to new ideas to actually make progress that benefits us all.
I like that progressive talk.
Do you feel like there
welcome
needs?
Here.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like there needs to be more transparency regarding council, the decisions they make, what leads them to the decisions that they make, etc.?
Yeah, it's something that it's an issue that comes up a lot, because every politician goes through the same dance, right? It's transparency, accountability. You know, that's everyone puts it front and center on their foreheads essentially during a campaign. Now, does that translate into putting into practice in City Hall? We don't always see that. I mean, I guess to speak to a specific point, I know there was a motion that Mr. Plummer was trying to pass in the last month, where they want to have the votes online.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's a simple thing that I'm fully in support of, that we can actually hold people accountable, because we know how they vote. I mean, it's practiced in provincial politics and federal politics. There's no reason why we can't do the same thing at the municipal level.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I think more people will vote that way too, because you got people in our age generation, and we are very social media savvy. Like, a lot of us don't even have, like, I don't even have basic cable. Most of the time I get everything off the net, Netflix, and you know what I mean? So, like, if I can vote for somebody online without leaving the comfort of my own home.
Well, that's why I'm telling
awesome.
people, if you're a young person and you haven't voted before, you better vote this time, because you can do it from your phone and you're on it all damn day.
Yes.
So have at her, right?
Yes, there's no excuse not to vote.
No excuse.
No, definitely not. And that was kind of the whole purpose of the Pembroke Elections 2018 group too.
Yes.
Obviously, the name will have to change once this race is all over. But that was the idea, was for people my age, because a lot of people our age don't vote because they're too busy with families. They're too busy working 2 or 3 jobs and trying to keep, you know, the roof over their head and food on the table. And yeah, I think it's important that people our age start voting more. So like the best way is social media, because it's just as quick as joining a group and asking questions. And most of the candidates are very receptive when it comes to answering the questions. You're one of them. Like you take the time to actually inform the people who are social media savvy, opposed to somebody who, like me, I don't have Coach Go. So I'm not going to see the Coach Go interviews or anything like that. I've missed all that, you know?
Yeah.
So you fill in the spaces with this, which is nice, which
you guys have created a really good platform here that's very engaging, and you know, it's just kind of how I operate. I mean, I'm a very social person. I feel I'm very approachable.
Yes.
You know, I'm willing to meet with
Definitely.
anyone anytime. I've got my, you know, my personal phone number out there, my email. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. It's like, if you want to get a hold of me, you'll find me somewhere, you know, and it's not that big of a town to begin with, and I'm out here a lot. So I think that, I mean, that accessibility aspect to me is very important, and also
Very
just to
beneficial,
have
yeah.
that, to always be putting that out there, because, you know, I've had a few people say to me when I have given them all my information, said, hey, if there's any issues you want to talk about, reach out. And they're like, oh, well, no, I don't want to bother you. And no, that's why I'm doing this, because I want to hear from you. I don't know everything. I don't know what all the issues are. I mean, when I'm talking to business owners, those are the people who are on the beat. You know, they have their own understanding.
Yes.
They deal with the city on a regular basis,
Yeah.
right? And I need to gather those perspectives if I'm going to make informed decisions at City Hall.
Yes, agreed.
Definitely.
So let's talk about the investments made downtown. Well, I love this question. First off, if a new business is going to move in downtown or in the town of City of Pembroke, as a consumer, what do you want to see? A new business, what would be cool? What would you come up to?
As a new business.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You know what I really like, actually? I was thinking about this the other day. You ever been to like Dave and Buster's, or like there was a place in Ottawa called the Honest Lawyer?
Awesome.
This
You know?
needs to happen.
So,
okay?
so one of those bars where they got like skee ball and pool
Yes.
tables
It's like,
and air hockey.
Chuck E. Cheese.
We
which
basically,
is
yes,
nonsense.
yeah, and like I've been to Dave and Buster's is incredible. I know we don't have such a thing, but on a smaller level, you know, they've got arcade games, the shooters, like. Those places are great because during the day they're great for kids, and then during the night they're good for you and your buddies to go out and blow off some steam, have a few drinks, have some chicken fingers, and play a bunch of video games.
I'm sorry.
And you think
this
about
is just funny.
Well, you think about the demographic like I'm in, right? Like I grew up on Nintendo. I was born in the 80s, right? So like I've seen the evolution of gaming and video games. So like I would love to see some kind of resurgence of the arcade aspect.
Arcade,
Something,
yeah.
you know, like
Multiple people.
arcade bar, I guess, is what
Yeah.
we call it, right?
So that spot, I keep saying that spot. Yeah, we had in the last interview we touched on this, and I keep saying that spot.
If these two get on council together,
Oh,
you
I'm
know
proud
that
of
it's coming, right? You know that it's coming, because it's like
We
you
need.
and Adam
Well,
Gunter
that's
have
another
spoken.
one of the questions. We need. Do you think we need younger voices on council?
Definitely.
Yes, obviously that's why we're all here.
Good
I'd say
changes
so.
to
That's why I'm
come.
here. I'm one of the youngest guys running.
Are
so.
you? Good.
Well, I think so.
How
I'm
old are
30.
you?
Right? I'm just turned 30. So.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. And yeah, I really think that the place over at Sleepwell Property Management, Pembroke, the Muse Mall, that big space they have right next to the mall would be great to fill up with.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I guess the
Lots of room.
Skies didn't stay in there, and that it was a great business. But yeah, maybe a Dave and Buster's style business.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, if you're an investor watching, or you're a
Yes.
potential entrepreneur, I'll let you have that. Take that, and make a plan out of it.
Yeah.
For
I'll
sure.
be right there with your number one customer.
Yeah, you'll be a number one customer. Good, a supporter of local business.
I'd like to see a theater, like a movie theater or something along that line, go downtown where I think it was called O'Brien's.
O'Brien, yeah.
It used to be. I would love that space to be filled again, because that would just open up that whole it's kind of just a little bit shady right now, corner of
Yeah.
the downtown core, you know?
It's really unfortunate. I know I spoke to a local real estate agent about it, and because he was kind of in the know onto the deal that was apparently going to happen, where they were going to create that dinner and show type thing. And it didn't end up working out. And
That's
I've talked to a lot of people who looked at it. It's really unfortunate that it's run down to the point where it's the amount of capital involved to
Yes.
make a viable business out of that property unfortunately isn't there. So we're really at the point where we're going to need to get creative in a solution for that building. And one thing that the gentleman I spoke with mentioned was, you know, we might be just getting together with some like-minded, community-oriented people, starting a nonprofit and buying that and using the space. You know, not looking to maybe make a viable business, but making a viable space for the community that's sustainable, but that, you know, gets rid of the eyesore and puts the building to good use.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, even just standardizing it, you know, like so that somebody can potentially move it. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to open up some kind of a charity or something for that, you know?
Yeah.
Even a GoFundMe page or something, speaking of social media.
Yeah, really.
GoFundMe for O'Brien Theatre.
Yes.
It'd be something.
Sounds legit.
I like the ideas. I like restoring the downtown continuously. Let's never stop progressing. So I love your progressive talk. Let's look to here. We got some positive comments. I like to read the positive comments. They take time to.
I'm just gonna pump my tires during the interview.
Let's pump some
Where's your
tires
car?
here. How many comments? Oh, we're down to. So what it does is it doesn't always regenerate them. But we have Jan. She's saying definitely Adam has been a great participant. Awesome.
Thanks,
Definitely.
Great for the college students. Your idea to have a Dave and Buster's style place downtown.
Very good.
And there was other comments talking about.
20 comments.
Oh, you can see the comments.
I can, yeah.
Feel free to share.
I'm just opening them up now.
My
actually.
devices are just not working all for me, but it's not.
Lots of really good positive reinforcement your way. Even Danny Chan wrote, that's awesome.
That's me.
Danny Chan!
No, never mind. Let's not talk about that.
Well, you got burn accounts?
I don't have a burn account. I got locked out, so I have my Facebook account is linked to an old cell phone, an old email. I have access to neither, and I don't know the password. So how do I change the password? It's on my MacBook and my new work phone. I open up a new account, like a burn account, and then I just I took it too far. I'm getting into character for an acting role. Okay, so that's off. That's not
Maybe
necessary.
we can promote it on this group.
Now
We can promote Church Street Media House on here.
Now we're grilling Max, eh?
I was supposed to be complimenting you. Now I'm just.
You are no longer
sorry,
the
I'm
center of
sorry.
attention.
I just thought it was funny though.
Good. No, I like it.
Oh, that's awesome. Speaking of promoting, Rita Duggan, there's still cookies here, and I believe Adam expressed some interest.
I did actually.
I'll get them.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
That's
you
great.
you just relax. I'm just trying to fix that up. Well, yes, we'll show them off to any of our viewers who haven't had the chance to see. There are. Oh,
Oh, that was a close one.
they're diminishing.
I'm sweating.
Obviously, we're. All right, so very fine, homemade, very rich, light and fluffy macaroons.
Yeah.
Hey guys, comment. Are these confirmed? Is that what these are called? Macaroons? They're so beautiful.
Rita's going, yes, they are.
I'm really happy, Rita. Well, I'll go over here.
Yeah, this is really wonderful, Rita.
Well, I like how it's actually pieces of artwork that are edible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. You guys hungry?
And isn't it even more special that we put the candidate like right directly in the center? They're like the focal point right now. All we need is like this spotlight up here as Adam eats his
Everybody's gonna watch me.
cookie. Okay, zoom in.
Really, this is what it's all about. And I wanted to take this time to ask everyone who's watching, and your opinion as well. I don't think we've talked about this during this interview. Our idea is potentially to plan an event. Well, we want to plan an event that's not a debate and not too much of a formal event. Let's kick it. Let's get relaxed. Let's go to a local business and enjoy time together as all the candidates, all the participants, all of our families, and enjoy a night out where we just kind of relax, get to know each other. Some questions can be asked, but it's not about grilling each other or poking at each other.
No.
And so that's our idea. Do you think you'd come up to that if you had
Oh,
time?
100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like actually, you might. Okay.
That's my jam.
That's all.
To
Yeah.
put it simply.
You like to enjoy what Pembroke has to offer.
That's right. I spent a lot of time in local establishments here, so I mean, when you're talking about the pub, I would say it's only a few blocks away, so easy walk down
So
the
you
street.
could do like the walk of shame at the end.
Pretty
of the
much, yeah. Well, I hope it'll be walk of pride after doing some campaigning.
Well, I'm sure you will be.
Well, I think if everyone came out with that friendly, positive attitude, which I've seen all the candidates so far that I've been watching over social have been fairly positive. So I mean, yeah, like let's keep that going, and we're hoping to do that like less than a week before our elections close.
October 17th, I think, is the projected date. October
Oh, well,
17th,
we haven't put it out there yet. We're asking for everyone's confirmation on their like input first. But yeah, that's what we're looking for. So if you guys are interested in that, yeah, I mean, no harm in throwing out that potential date. Yeah, if you guys are interested in coming out as participants, or if any of the candidates are interested, please drop us a line, because we're really we want to be encouraged to host this event. And as you know, events take a lot, and that's why Jay Crawford's comment and question was really great about like events are under attended in general nowadays. People tend to want to, stay inside or pursue other things, but we need more community events, positive community events. And
as long as the beers aren't like $15, that's the worst
No,
thing about events.
he said he'd give us a deal, so
Right, well,
we'll see. And there's going to be app specials. You can come dressed in a tie and a suit if you like, or you can come dressed in plaid. It doesn't matter. It's a loosey-goosey, casual event, kind of just a meet and greet. Music in the background, good food, good company.
Rita has confirmed they're not macaroons, they're macarons. Macarons? They're so good.
I've never
I guess
that.
macaroons are more like those like things that are
The coconut.
chocolatey coconut like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Oh,
Cool.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
Okay,
Rita.
this-
These are fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good.
This has made the interview very enjoyable, much easier.
sweeter. No pun intended.
Well, I'm chewing. Can you?
No, we're just gonna awkwardly wait for you to
All right.
finish.
I'm gonna once again thank you for caring, Adam, so much about our city.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Making it greater than it already is.
Yes,
And,
you sound like a very good advocate for our
Yes.
town. City.
Absolutely.
So I'll close the Rubber Chicken Circuit show for today. Candace, my amazing co-host, Adam Lesco, and we'll drop some links so you can find out more about his campaign, of course. And thank you for tuning in exclusively in the group Pembroke Elections 2018. I'm going to drop the live feed now.
Thanks, everyone.
Stay positive.
God bless.